Hello and welcome to Global Education's Virtual Expo 2022. I'm joined by my colleague Sam from the University of West England, Bristol, or as we like to call it, UWE Bristol. And Sam will be telling us all about this fantastic institution in today's webinar. If you have any questions, please do keep them for the end of the session. Pop them in the chat box and we'll get to you at the end. We are Global Education. We're an education agent. We assist students from start to finish of the entire application process. So we'd be so excited to hear from you and so excited to help you through your applications. Sam, I'm going to leave it up to you now. Take it away. Thank you for joining us today. And I'm really looking forward to this presentation. Perfect. Thanks very much for the introduction.
Yeah. So yeah, once again, my name is Sam Micklewright. I'm the regional manager for Africa at UWE Bristol. I would normally travel out to South Africa or Southern Africa, let's say, Zimbabwe, Zambia, maybe 3-4 times a year. And hopefully I will start traveling again in the latter part of this year. So hopefully I can meet some of you face to face. But yeah, today I'm just going to run through the University of West of England, what we offer. Should only be about 10 minutes, and then I'm happy to answer any questions you have at the end. So what I'll do is I will stop my video and share my screen. Perfect. Can I just get confirmation, Marianne? Is that working?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, so this is my opening slide, and I just want to keep it on this for a little bit because this is one of our most famous attractions. And if you haven't already figured out, we're based in the city of Bristol. And this is Clifton Suspension Bridge, which is in a part of the city called Clifton. And this is our, I guess, one of our big attractions or main focal points of the city. A lot of people come to use this bridge. It's quite a impressive feat of engineering, and obviously you've got the nice river underneath and the actual nice architecture of Clifton on side. So anyway, there you go. So I just want to start off with a few rankings. So we are ranked 21st in the UK in the Guardian League table. That's out of, I think, 121 universities, so quite a high ranking. Some of our subject rankings, so 12th in the UK for architecture, 11th for building, town and country planning, and 13th for mechanical engineering, and 4th for film production photography. These are some of our highlights. A lot of our other courses will be in the 20s and the 30s. And then the thing that we're most proud of is our student satisfaction. So every year there's a national student survey that if you're studying in the UK that you would complete yourself as well. And it asks questions all to do with student satisfaction. And in 2020, we were second in England for student satisfaction. We have 4 faculties at UWE. We have arts, creative industry and education, environment and technology, business and law, and health and applied science. For the arts and creative industry and education, we then break that down into 3 areas. So you have art and design, creative and cultural industries, and education and childhood. And this is not the complete list of courses on offer, but just to highlight generally what we offer. So things like journalism, wildlife filmmaking, animation, fine art, illustration, graphic design, early childhood, drawing and print. Animation is quite a popular course at our university. We're home to Aardvark Studios, which is the animation studio that creates Wallace and Gromit. We then have environmental technology. And this is broken into architecture and built environment, computer science and creative tech, engineering, design and mathematics, and geography and environmental management. So you have things like architecture, technology and design, the MArch, which is the Master of Architecture, product design, construction project management. For anyone that's unaware, a BSc is a Bachelor's of Science, that's undergraduate, and an MSc, like MSc Construction Project Management, is a Master's, so postgraduate. Yeah, with things like computer science, games technology, creative music technology, aerospace engineering, robotics, engineering management, geography, transport planning, project management, architecture and planning. So lots of different options there. Once again, this is not the full list. The full list of our courses are on our website. We then have business and law, which is pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. So we have accounting, economics, business, events, marketing, the MBA, LLM, international law, LLM, international trade and economic law. That's LLM means a law-based master's. We then have top-up degrees as well. So, for example, say if you've studied some sort of diploma in South Africa and haven't done your honours degree, you can join us for a 1-year top-up degree where you, after you finish that degree, you then graduate with an honours degree. And we have those in various different subjects as well. And then lastly, we have health and applied science. And that is broken into allied health professions, applied sciences, health and social sciences, and nursing midwifery. The health and applied science courses, so we have things like paramedical science, optometry, biological science, physiotherapy, optometry, forensic science. Especially in South Africa, I find that we always have students on physiotherapy or optometry every single year. Seems to be quite a popular course in South Africa for UWE. Yeah, so those are just a brief summary of all the 4 faculties. Obviously, if you want a bit more information, please ask me at the end, or about a particular course, or you can go on the website. As I mentioned earlier, we're based in the city of Bristol, and actually, this is actually one of our main selling points is the area we live in and the area we're from. So obviously, if you're doing undergraduate, let's say, you're going to be studying here for 3 years at least. You potentially might take advantage of the post-work study visa, so then you live and work for 2 years in the UK after. So potentially you could be in the place that you study for 5 years. So obviously you want to live and study and work in somewhere that you're going to enjoy. And we like to think the city of Bristol was a very nice place to live, work and study in. Over 50% of students that study in Bristol stay in Bristol. That was from a survey in 2015. We're regularly one of the top 10 happiest cities in the UK as well. There's a little map centre top here. So we're about 2 hours away from London, 2 hours away from Birmingham, 1 hour away from Cardiff. We have our own airport. So you can fly, for example, Bristol, Amsterdam, Johannesburg, for example, or alternatively, I will normally take the bus to London Heathrow and fly direct to Johannesburg. In terms of Bristol's demographic, we're about 500,000 population, so not the smallest city, but definitely not the biggest. We have 91 languages spoken, but obviously English is the main language, 180 countries of birth. We have 125 destinations from Bristol Airport. We're well known for 2 industries within Bristol. Aerospace, we have things like Airbus, Wessex helicopters, and creative and digital industries as well. And we have over 50,000 students within the city of Bristol. Because you have University of West of England, who I work for. There's also the University of Bristol, which is the other university. And then lastly, you have BIM, which is a music-based university. So these are, it looks like we've got 5 campuses here, but actually it's 3. So we have Frenchay Campus to the north of the city, which is our main and flagship campus. So that's things like business, law, engineering, and science. You then have Glenside Campus towards the east of the city. That's for the healthcare students. And then we have our art and design campus, which is broken down into 3 buildings and 1 small campus. So we have Bower Ashton, Spike Island, and Arnolfini. And these are our art and design students. This is a top-down view of Frenchay Campus. Once again, this is our flagship campus, our main campus. And I can just highlight a few things on the map here. So anything that's labeled 1 is accommodation. So you have accommodation surrounding the university. We also have number 5 is our Faculty of Environmental Technology. So this is our brand new engineering building, which opened September last year for the first cohort of students. State-of-the-art facilities there. We also have 6, which is the Faculty of Business and Law, or the Bristol Business School. That opened in 2017 at a cost of £55 million. We also have, to get my bearings here, So number 10, University Enterprise Zone, also houses our robotics laboratory. And we have the largest robotics lab in the whole of Europe. And it's co-run by University of West of England and University of Bristol. Then we have things like the library, which is the I in the middle, just north of it is 2, the library. And it's quite a large campus. I'd say it'd probably take about 15 minutes to walk from one side to the other. So it's almost like a small village, let's say. You also have your sporting facilities to the right of the picture here, number 9, Centre for Sport. This is the city campus, city campus sites, apologies. So you have Bower Ashton, Spike Island, Arnolfini and Watershed. So Bower Ashton is actually a campus where Spike Island, Arnolfini and Watershed are buildings, but these are right in the city centre of Bristol. So it's a really, I guess, inspiring place to learn if you're doing things like art and design, journalism. You want to be in and around the hustle and bustle of the city, where a lot of your peers will be doing internships or paid work, for example, in their industry. And then we have Glenside Campus, which is actually an old hospital that we converted, grade 2 listed. And we host all our allied health professions here, optometry, nursing, that sort of thing. And we have these quite large skills simulation suites. So we have, I guess, the test dummies that you can practice nursing, optometry, physio on. We try and make it as close to a real life person as physically possible. So these dummies, for example, you can see in that top right picture, the program leaders can speak through them. They have bones that can break. You can pump blood through them. So we try and make it as close to a real life human as physically possible. And a big part of the university is also accommodation, or university life is accommodation, where you're going to stay. So on Frenchay and Glenside campus, we offer university accommodation, and traditionally, or the standard will be a private bedroom, private bathroom, and then shared living. So that'd be shared kitchen and shared living room, and normally 6 students to each living room / kitchen. And then in the city centre, we also have accommodation, but it will be anywhere between a 5 to 30-minute walk away from your city centre campus or building, wherever you're studying within the city centre campus, where Glenside and Frenchay is on campus and you'll be less than a 5-minute walk away. In terms of fees and funding, just to quickly gloss over this, for undergraduate per year for September 2022 is £14,250 per year. For postgraduate, it ranges from £14,000 to £16,000 depending on the course. And if you find the course page on the UWE website, it's really easy to find out the course fee. And then we have our MBA, the Masters of Business Administration, which is £16,250. We also have a number of scholarships available. So at postgraduate level, we have some quite large 50% or higher scholarships, which are quite competitive. You have to apply for them. So once you receive your academic offer and you meet the criteria for the scholarship, you'll then be invited to apply for those scholarships. For undergraduate, we offer sports scholarships and also academic scholarships. And if you're interested in those, you can drop me an email at the end of this and we can discuss that. For the academic undergraduate, though, we're looking for quite high grades. I mentioned we have a sports scholarship. So we have a thing called the International Sports Scholarship, which is sat within our performance sports department on Frenchay campus. Currently, we have 3 performance sports, which is American football, basketball, and squash. The squash player there, Makosi, is actually a South African student from a few years ago who applied via Global, and she received a sports scholarship. But although we have 3 performance sports, we actually will accept any student athlete who plays a sports within the BUCS framework. So the BUCS framework is basically the organisation that runs all the British university sports leagues. So if you go on their website, which I can provide at the end, and if your sport is in the BUCS framework, we will consider your application. So although we actively look for sports athletes in these 3 performance sports, we actually have performance athletes from a range of about 20 plus sports in total. The actual award itself, you get up to 30% tuition fee discount every year of study, access to all the UWE Bristol performance facilities, so you have your own private gym, membership to Team Builder strength and conditioning mobile app, strength and conditioning support from our performance staff, access to physiotherapy services, and you also have opportunities to provide appropriate support in terms of psychology, nutrition, and performance lifestyle. So I'm just going to have a sip of water. In terms of how to apply for the sports scholarship, firstly, you need to satisfy the UWE Bristol entry requirements for your chosen degree. Obviously, we're not going to offer you a sports scholarship if you're not qualified for, let's say, a business degree that you want to apply for. So you need to make sure that you're academically qualified first. And obviously, that's something that I can answer or Global Education can answer as well. You need to provide evidence of your sporting achievements. Be committed to represent the university in the Bucks League. And then lastly, we have an application, online application that you have to complete. You can complete the application before you apply academically. That's not an issue, but obviously, please be aware that we won't consider your sports application until you receive an academic offer. And in terms of application tips, ideally provide links to videos of you performing. That's quite a good assessment tool for the team. We ask for sports references. And lastly, just be honest. We're looking for aspirational students, basically, or athletes. So if you embellish or lie or anything, obviously we'd rather build you up than realize you've not been as honest as you are on the application. In terms of academic entry requirements now to apply, so each undergraduate or postgraduate course will have different entry requirements, and it's too long to list on a presentation and quite boring, to be honest. So my recommendation is if you go on the university website, find the course you want to study, click on the entry tab, it will then list the entry requirements. But for undergraduate from South Africa, we accept A levels, the IB, the IEB, and the matric. For A level and IB and International Baccalaureate, we use a thing called UCAS tariff points. So our undergraduate courses will range from anywhere from 112 UCAS tariff points to 144. And what you need to do is you need to convert your A levels and your International Baccalaureate into UCAS tariff points using the UCAS website, the UCAS tariff calculator. But for example, a B is 32 points, a B is 40 points, apologies. An A is 48 points, a C is 32 points. So for example, say if you need to achieve 120 UCAS points, you need to achieve BBB, which would be 40, 40, 40, 120 points. Or you could do A, B, C, 48 points, 40 points, 32 points, adds up to 120. And it's the same system with the International Baccalaureate. In terms of local South African qualifications, we accept the National Senior Certificate, the matric, or the IEB, and we're looking for minimum grades of 6, 6, 5, 5, 5 across 5 subjects. So we only look at your top 5 subjects. We don't look at your full 7 or how many you've done. And then lastly, for postgraduate, we're looking for a pass or a 2-2, a second class lower in a bachelor honours degree. We can consider your application if you don't have an honours degree, but a high grade. And then lastly, for English language, we accept a 4 or above in your IEB or matric, or a C or above in your IGCSE, or a 4 or above in your International Baccalaureate English language. In terms of how to apply, so you have 2 options really, but the main option thing would be contact Global Education and they will apply on your behalf and take the stress away from it. For undergraduate, we'd recommend applying via UCAS, which is what Global Education will do on your behalf. And from that UCAS application, you can apply to 5 different universities or 5 courses at the same university, or a general mixture, to be honest. For postgraduate, simply contact Global Education and they will do a direct application to our admissions team. And just to make, some courses will require an interview or portfolio, but this is clearly listed on each course page on the UWE website. Bit more essential information for each application. So obviously Global Education will run through this. They will start the actual application itself. We then ask for a copy of your highest achieved school certificate or predicted grades. If you've got them, a transcript of your individual subject grades, a personal statement, and personal statement is quite important for all courses. In short, we want to know why you want to study the course, why you want to study at UWE, how the course will benefit you, and your interest in the course. It's the best way I can put it. We get a lot of students that provide quite generic personal statements that when you read them, they could apply to any university in the UK, to be honest. There's nothing special about the personal statement or nothing links it to UWE or the course. So I would definitely suggest doing your research on the course in the university that you're applying for and writing a personalised statement about that. Some courses, as I said, require a portfolio, and we accept e-portfolios, so virtual portfolios. For undergraduate, we require 1 reference for undergraduate applications and 2 for postgraduate. As I said earlier, for English language, we accept GCSE, IB, Matric or IEB English language. We want to know information on all your previous UK study or copies of your previous visas. And obviously, you've got to meet the minimum entry requirements. Last couple of slides for me. I just want to mention a team we have on campus, on the French campus, but you can contact them online or via WhatsApp, which is called the Global Student Support Team. So their whole job is to look after international and EU students after they arrive. That's their one job basically. So they arrange things like pre-arrival support, airport welcome, airport pickup. So we'll pick you up at the airport and take you back to campus. Meet and greets with current international students, weekly drop-ins, peer assisted learning. That's when you talk to current students, normally a year or 2 above you or postgraduate, and they assist you in elements of the university. Then lastly, I mentioned earlier about Bristol being a really nice place to visit itself and live in. I've lived here for 5 years now, and it's definitely wasn't a mistake moving here. I'm really enjoying it. But please visit the visitbristol.co.uk tourist site. They have quite a number of virtual tours that you can attend. And obviously, if you do want to visit the campus in the UK, please email me. I'll happily host you and give you a personal tour of the campus and maybe parts of the city. We also offer quite a number of webinars throughout the year, and the link at the bottom is there. And I'd recommend going on that thing, because you might find there'll be a webinar to do with your particular subject or subject area. So definitely worth investigating. And that's me done, really. I'll leave this up for a minute, and I'll turn on my camera. So you can obviously, if you want to ask me any questions, there's my email address. As I said, I'm hoping to return to travel back to South Africa or Southern Africa later this year, but not confirmed yet. But in the meantime, email me. We can Zoom, Team, WhatsApp, however you want to communicate. I'm free basically to answer any questions.
Sam, I think South Africa misses you just as much as you miss it.
I definitely do miss it. Right, I'll stop sharing now. Actually, no, I'll leave it on. It's fine.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for that presentation. I'm just feeling extremely nostalgic because of my agents tour back in 2018, and I can definitely confirm how beautiful the city is, how fun and interactive it is for students. So many sights to see. If it's not just the graffiti on the wall, it's going to the beautiful bridge or going to the art center by the port. And I just loved how creative it was, and I could see that it was a very student-oriented city. So yeah, definitely feeling nostalgic. Something else I wanted to comment on, which I think it's become quite a popular option for students, IT, robotics, artificial intelligence. And I remember hearing a story when I was at UWE about a student who had done sort of a work placement internship sort of experience after he had finished his undergrad at the amazing robotics center that UWE has. And his concept was just so fantastic. He ended up selling his concept to a major tech company and could basically retire at the age of 24.
So there was the student called Silas, who started a company called Reach Robotics. Silas is he's British Nigerian British, and he started a company called Reach Robotics, which he sold to. I want to get my facts right, so please don't quote me on this. I know it's being recorded. He sold it to either Microsoft, Apple, or Google, I want to say, but please don't quote me on that. I need to find out. For quite a large amount of money. He's still in Bristol. He still attends quite a lot of the events. Robotics is becoming more and more popular for us. So we have an undergraduate in robotics, we have a master's in robotics, and we also have a master's in artificial intelligence as well.
It's fantastic. And I also remember how much the university itself was putting into a very interactive engineering building, the new engineering building, and it just blew my mind when I saw the model for it, how it was just a space where engineers from all different niches could interact, because that's what it is. You're not just doing engineering independently of all of the other ones. It's all kind of linked. So it's creative, whether it's a science, it's a STEM subject, whether it is a creative subject, a medical subject, even the Glenside campus. And the facilities are unbelievable. So I really love practicality at UWE, and sort of the work experience that it gives students before they've even started working. Yeah.
And I know you didn't get to visit the engineering building, you visited because it was still under construction. It's a wonderful building. It's very I consider it very open plan. So you can sort of just like peer through the windows at all the workshops and what's going on quite easily. Sounds a bit creepy that you're just peering through the windows, but it's not. There's not many I guess closed doors. You know, there's you can see what's going on, which I find quite interesting. Just to have a little walk around.
Yeah, definitely. And you often will find students, although they're doing business or engineering, they want to learn a little bit from each other. So I love that they have the opportunities right in the middle of Glenside Campus, if I remember correctly.
Correct. Yeah.
All right, it looks like we have a question here. So the student is asking if UWE offers medicine.
No, unfortunately not. So don't offer medicine, don't offer chemistry or physics. Obviously, plenty of universities do offer medicine. If you like the idea of staying in Bristol, the University of Bristol itself offers medicine, but no, we don't as UWE Bristol.
So we actually have a student at UWE Bristol now who we assisted for her undergrad. She did her undergraduate in occupational therapy and is quite interested in medicine outside of the application of medicine, and she's pursuing a physician's associate MSc, which is also very interesting, very new, very niche. So maybe have a look at the MSc physician's associate. It might be something of interest to you. But I can definitely vouch on how fantastic that Glenside campus is. I was watching simulations from paramedic students on actual, I don't want to call them dolls because they're not dolls, but
I think we call them dubbies. I'm not too sure.
Dummies. So very nice alternatives in the health sector.
And just to reiterate about the Glenside campus and I guess the skills and simulation suites, that it's almost a working campus, because for example I wear glasses and I get my eye test at the UWE optometry suite, which is on Glenside campus, and it's run by staff and students. So if you're looking to study optometry, for example, part of your working placements will be potentially inside of the UWE optometry suite, where you're testing vision, obviously dispensing glasses, that sort of thing, on members of the public. Because although I'm a staff member, I use that service as a member of the public, and likewise I've used the physiotherapy services on campus as well as a member of the public as well. So it's almost like a working campus. There's lots of opportunities for work experience, volunteered or paid, throughout the whole Glenside campus. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting place to visit and study.
How great to come out of your degree with a CV that's already filling up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bonus. But yeah, thank you, Sam. I always enjoy the presentations from you. Truly, I am feeling very nostalgic. But for everyone who's joined us today, thank you so much for joining. I hope you found this insightful. And for all the students who are going to be watching this in future, please don't hesitate to get in touch with Sam or myself. You've got all of our contact details here. We'd be happy to help you with any questions that you have. And even more so, we'd be happy to help you with your application. So thank you for joining us, Sam. Thank you always. It's a pleasure. Have a wonderful day, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.